Hey everyone, thanks for tapping into Constant Cadence with Matt. Vitrectomy slash detach retina slash scleral buckle version. I thought I would let folks know what's been going on. I did an update after about a month, and it's been another couple of weeks. Things are starting to happen in terms of how I manage what's going on, and then I'm also, one of those things that I have to manage is my expectations in terms of healing. So I thought I'd talk about, what I'm doing and how things are progressing and sort of my philosophy moving forward based upon some other content providers that I'll reference in the description. Highly recommend you check them out. They all have unique experiences, I think, but there are lots of commonalities and lots of ways that we can learn from those. So I'll make sure and spread the word about the ones that I found particularly helpful. So I had a relatively short acting gas bubble because I did get the scleral buckle, which provides further support, and the gas bubble, based upon the location of my detachment, I was able to get more upright time, and that bubble would provide support, by rising up. So I had, my detachment was more on the upper right-hand side. So I'd lay on my side most of the time, but then I could be upright rather than, being face down all the time, or depending on where the injury happens, people can have a really a more challenging time during recovery. But at any rate, my gas bubble was short acting, about 3 weeks, and I could see it shrink. It's really unusual. It's like looking through a glass of water as it evaporates. And then eventually it just becomes a little dot, and then, the next morning it's gone. And you can see, I'll try and put up another graphic to show what happens when they use a scleral buckle. So you get the additional support, which is great, but it can also cause things like folds, right? So think about if you have something lining the inside of a basketball and you squeeze the basketball, that paint or whatever you have lining that basketball could scrunch up, and that can create a fold, which could cause disturbances in your field of vision, which is something that I'm dealing with. It's not very severe, but and I'm actually having a hard time figuring out whether it's just a change in vision as a result of the surgery and the trauma that caused, because the changes are kind of slight, just like slightly crooked compared to the other eye, which in my case, my left eye is basically 20/20. I need readers, but I can see really far into the distance and very, very sharp. So I'm always comparing the two. And like if I look at my watch face with my right eye, it sometimes appears slightly out of round, or there's a little misshapenness to it. So I don't know whether the scleral buckle, I do have a small fold, which we think will get reintegrated over time. And I've seen other YouTubers show where that happens. So it could be a result of the fold and it may resolve, or it could just be a result of, having to have surgery to fix retinal detachment. So, I think the key there is we have to be patient, and we have to do what we can to allow our bodies to heal. And in the case of the eye, it does take a long time. I mean, think about just even setting a broken bone or something like that. You're talking about months, and I think it's similar, months, maybe 6 months to even a year before your body is settled down and has done its thing in terms of healing. Another thing with the scleral buckle, aside from the folds, is that it changes the shape of your eye, and because you're squeezing it, at least initially, and I think the shape of your eye may change just depending on how it responds to that type of pressure, but it could elongate your eye, which means the throw from your lens, from your cornea through your lens to the back of the eye, the retina, is going to be better suited for closer vision. So it's kind of weird I'm not wearing any glasses or contacts or anything now. And normally I would need readers. My left eye, I need readers. But with my eye now, I can read, very small print. If I put this document up to my face, I can read checks at a restaurant, etc., which I would normally need readers for. So my right eye, because of the change in shape, because of the scleral buckle, it just sees differently, right? The focal point is different and has been adjusted because of the squeezing of the eye in order to reinforce the retina. So there are good reasons for a scleral buckle, and they do provide the support that you need. Made my recovery a lot easier, but now my eyes are very basically polar ends of the spectrum from one another, which is a little disconcerting, and it takes some getting used to. So I wanted to get them as close as possible with corrective measures as soon as possible, if that makes sense. It was kind of giving me headaches, and this eye is nearsighted, this eye is perfect, or can't see without readers up close. So they were just like completely, I guess my brain just used my left eye for distance and my right eye for close up, which is kind of cool, but it's also, I don't know, it felt strange. So I went to an optometrist and I got a prescription, and I think it was too soon because I still had a little bit of the gas bubble, but I could see around it. I'm kind of like a big floater, if you want to think about it that way. But I did get a prescription, and I ordered glasses. I ordered these glasses, and they unfortunately were going to take 2 weeks. Well, I didn't want to wait 2 weeks. So I went to Glasses Overnight, which is a website, and I'll put a link to them in the description. And I made these with my prescription, and they do get, like, if I compare eye to eye, they're very similar. So this helped, and they're bifocals, which is like a whole other thing to get used to. You've got this, lens for reading down below that affects your field of vision, and then the frames affect your field of vision. So this is all new to me. It felt like my world got much smaller, right? So that takes some coping skills, I think, to get through. And I'm sure that any of you that are going through this, understand what I'm trying to say. It's tough to get through, but it takes time. Your body does heal, and I think patience is the key. These glasses helped a lot, and I think they look okay, and they get my eyes not exactly the same, but close to being the same in terms of what they can see. Now, there is still some distortion in my right eye. There's a challenge with depth perception, and with glasses and with anything at this point, while I'm healing and before I've had much time to live with this, that's going to be a little bit of a challenge, and it's also going to be like a little scary, and it makes me uneasy from time to time when I see like, oh, okay, it's not just crisp and exactly the way it should be. There are changes going on. I'm healing, etc. So I've got glasses. These I got from Glasses Overnight, and these are great. I got, I'm like, hey, I'm going to treat myself to some high-end frames. I bought some Boss frames, and then these Columbias, they're lighter weight and more kind of sporty. These are the ones my optometrist made for me, and they work great too. So I have 2 pairs of glasses. Unfortunately, I think my prescription is going to change pretty rapidly. So like in 30 days or another 30 days or maybe 2 months, I'll check and see what's happening. I mean, I hope my prescription changes because I want my right eye to continue to get better on its own. Just an FYI, it was like minus 2.5 on my right eye. So that gets me to where, basically 20/20 vision. It's not as good as my left eye, even though they say it's 20/20. Like, my left eye must be way better than 20/20 because I can see super far off and everything is very sharp and very colorful. The frames were an issue, and I'll talk about that a little bit. So the frames, kind of made me feel a little closed in. They limited my field of vision. So I thought contacts would be a good approach, and I really just need one. Essentially, I thought if I can get, a distance prescription for my right eye, then both eyes are basically the same. And I am used to readers at this point after, 4 years or so of using them. I'll just continue to use readers, and I can keep a contact in. So my doctor did a prescription for contacts, and she gave me a 30-day contact to use, which, there's a whole 30-day versus dailies that you get into, and it has to do with keeping it clean and storing it and all those kinds of things versus what I wound up moving towards, which is a daily. And let me see if I can get that in there. Yeah, so this is the AccuView Oasis Max 1 day. And the nice thing about these is, you get 90 of them, and I think it's $100 and some change. You get 90 of them, so that's 90 days, and they're just fresh and ready to go. You put it in your eye in the morning, and at night you throw it away. So it helps to make sure that you're getting a sanitary lens every day. And you have to be careful, like never go swimming or never take a shower with contact lenses in, because any kind of bacteria or anything that gets behind the lens and you keep trapped behind that lens for any extended period of time can do really nasty things to your eyes, including make you go blind, which is like the whole thing we're trying to avoid here. So I think there's a lot of awareness that you need when you go through a retinal tear or detachment and vitrectomy or scleral buckle or whatever you have to do to get the problem fixed. I think even a laser, if you have any modification to your vision or you need to correct it, there's a lot of stuff to be aware of. So keep doing the research. And like I said, in the description, I will add some of the YouTube channels that really helped me. One, there was a fold and a couple of folds actually because of fluid, and mine's more kind of like because it's kind of ruffled up a little bit. And I was relieved that it took a while, like it took a year, but the fluid that was causing the folds in this case were absorbed over time, and physiologically the retina looked great at the end of a year. So now that doesn't mean you're going to see perfectly. Like there probably can still be things to work through from a visual perspective, and that's sort of retraining your brain and getting used to your new eye, the condition of your eye after the surgery. So that's where things stand right now. I find that the glasses, I don't know, they each has their benefits and things that I like about them. So glasses are, easy. You don't need to worry about fiddling with your eye or trying to get a contact lens to stay in your eye, which for me has been a little bit of a pain in the neck. Removing them's no problem, but getting them in is a problem. So glasses are easy. You just put them on, and then you can see pretty well. On the other hand, I like the fact that I can just pop a contact in, and then I get my field of vision is pretty broad. Yes, my right eye is not as good as my left eye, but they balance out. So like the left eye kind of gives me a little bit more detail. So that makes me feel more normal, I guess, or more like the way I was before I had my detached retina. So that's a benefit as well. And we'll see where it goes. I'm sure my prescription will change to some degree. I hope it improves. The shape of my eye may change, and also, just being able to see more clearly as the eye heals, I think will start to happen, and the retina starts to, firm itself up and start to, move on in a healthy way. So that's my mindset moving forward. A couple of other things I wanted to talk about. without dragging this out too long, but I did look. I've always been into like supplements and maybe for longevity or health. And I've had a couple of things like I had atrial fibrillation, which I was able to resolve, and just a couple of things. I want to stay healthy, and I'm generally very active. I play a lot of tennis, which I was able to do this past weekend, and that made me feel great. I wore a contact, and I use protective clear goggles, but my hand-eye coordination was pretty good. Now I am left-eye dominant, so that helped. But I want to start, training my mind and my body to get my right eye more involved, and to ensure that it heals and that the retina realigns and gets reestablished properly. So along with that, all that stuff is nutrition, and I want to bring up some supplements that I started taking specifically to support retinal healing. So I put my contact lens in, and now I've got my readers on, which is normally what I would do in this situation. And to me, that feels good. That's like restoring a certain amount of normalcy to my life. But getting back to nutrition and supplements, I've always been kind of into it, like a hobbyist of that, and I follow the YouTubers, normally doctors or PhDs that have biochemistry or expertise in that area. But I'll start with nutrients that are particular to the retina and the eye. So the first one is lutein, and lutein is commonly paired with zeaxanthin, which is another nutrient. But these are, and I'll just put that up there. This is the one I got. There are high concentrations of lutein found in the retina, and I think higher than anywhere else in the body. And so I think the idea is they're critical to building and maintaining a healthy retina. I am not a doctor, so this is not medical advice. I'm simply sharing what I think is best for me in terms of supplementing and getting the nutrients I need as my retina is going through this trauma and trying to rebuild itself as best it can. So that was the first one. Lutein, it's 40 milligrams that I take. And then L-lysine, which is an amino acid. I found this supplement from MacuHealth called Vitreous Health, and you'd be able to find any of these I found on Amazon. And the key ingredient here is L-lysine. Now I'm just going to get into a couple of things that generally promote mitochondrial health. So, making sure that at a cellular level you have enough energy, not only to give you energy as a person, but also to make sure that you can heal and that your systems are operating smoothly. So the one that's really popular is CoQ10, there's different kinds of CoQ10, but I take 100 milligrams of Qnol, and that's supposed to be great for supporting heart health and all kinds of different stuff. NMNH. You can also use nicotinamide riboside, which both of those are supposed to boost your NAD plus levels, which decline as you age, and they're a big part of mitochondrial health and longevity. Methylene blue is really kind of a mysterious substance that was initially created as a dye in the, I think in the 1800s at some point, but there are lots of different benefits to it. It's safe as long as you maintain an awareness of, like you don't want to use it in conjunction with SSRIs because it is an MAO inhibitor. So you could get, serotonin syndrome really bad. If you're taking antidepressants, don't even think about methylene blue. Again, I'm not a doctor. I did all my research. You should do yours as well. But there seems to be some scientific evidence that it is good for your mitochondrial health and good in a number of different ways for you when taken properly. And then the last one I'll mention is astaxanthin. This one has had some surprising studies done recently. So all of these have had serious studies done, and they're legit. There's none of this is out in left field kind of stuff. So astaxanthin has been shown in mice to extend life by something like 12%, which is considerable. I guess the theory is that it does help with mitochondrial health and overall energy production in the body. So I'm taking those, and I take other stuff just to make sure my heart is healthy. And a multivitamin I think is a no-brainer, which would probably have the lysine and lutein in it as well to some degree, but maybe not enough. So I just wanted to make sure that I was getting enough of those for my eye to heal properly. So that's where I'm at. I'd say overall I'm happy with the results. I was luckily able to catch the detachment as quickly as possible and get surgery as quickly as possible. I think the main thing that I'm dealing with now is just because of the structure of my eye. I think I had a hole or something that wasn't affecting me, but they decided to do the scleral buckle because they felt that there would be some likelihood of re-tearing or redetaching if they didn't. And I want, you got to trust your doctors, and I think they did the right thing. But it poses additional challenges in terms of your eyesight and making you, I think nearsighted is the right term, but it elongates your eyeball a little bit, and it makes it easier for you to see up close, but it makes distance vision blurry without correction. So that's where I'm at. And I think, let's see, it was like early March. So I'm sorry, early February. So I'm probably 6 weeks into it at this point, maybe coming up on 7 weeks on Saturday, which is when I was operated on. So overall, I'm pleased. I've learned a whole lot. I never had any issues with my eyes in the past before this. So this is all new to me, and I just wanted to share with everybody. I've been doing a lot of research. I've been looking at all the YouTubes, and I'll try and get as much of that into the description as possible. But please, if you have questions, make a comment. I respond. I've had a few comments, and I really appreciate those. And I hope if you're dealing with this, I hope everything is going smoothly, and I hope that I can help in some way. And a big part of it is community. You're not doing this alone, so let's have a conversation. And I hope everyone heals well and has a great day. And thank you for spending time with me. And I'll update again soon. Take care, everyone.